Hey guys, so we all know how important learning triads on guitar is, whether you want to play your funk rhythms, okay, or whether you want to explore them into arpeggios maybe, this way, or why not, maybe you want to use them when you solo, when you play lead guitar, okay. But let's start from the basics. What's a triad? A triad is a chord made by 3 notes, the root, the third, and the fifth. So if we take a simple triads like C major, anytime you play a C major, you're playing a C, E, G, okay? The root, the major third, and the perfect fifth, okay? Now what we're gonna learn today is a method to essentially map the fretboard of the guitar so that you guys can play any triad you'll ever need. So minor, major, augmented, diminished, but also close positions versus spread voicings of the triads. Now, for the sake of this lesson, all of the examples will be in C major. So I'm gonna start by essentially dividing the 6 strings of the guitar in 4 sets of strings. So the 4th set is going to be my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. My 2nd set is going to be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. My 3rd set is gonna be 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and my 4th and final set is going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th string. On each of these sets of strings, I'm gonna search for a C major triad. Now I'm expecting to find one root position, which means C, E, G, root, 3rd, and 5th. One first inversion, which means E, G, C, so 3rd, 5th, and root. And then one second inversion, which means G, C, E, so 5th, root, 3rd. Now, searching for the root position in the first set of strings, I get this position. Okay, as you can see, I'm playing C, E, G, so the order is root, 3rd, 5th, the root is in the bass, so this is my root position in the first set. For the second position, which is going to be a first inversion, I'm looking for the E this time in the bass, same set of strings, so I'm getting this position, which as we said is a first inversion, E, G, C, so 3rd, 5th, and root on top. Anytime I play a first inversion, I will find my root on top as the highest note, okay? And then my second inversion is this, which I know you guys are thinking looks like a D shape essentially, and this is my second inversion because I'm playing G, C, E, so 5th, root, and 3rd. The 5th is in the bass, the root is in the middle, okay? It's the central note, like this. So far we got 3 positions: root position, first inversion, second inversion. Okay, now I'm just gonna do the same thing on the second set of strings. So the first position I find here is this. Okay, this is also the same as an A shape. Now this is a second inversion because I'm playing G, C, and E. Okay, so again the C is in the middle. I can also notice that compared to the first position I found below on the first set of strings, I'm literally moving the highest note, which is G, to the low end. In this way I will put it in the bass and I get my second inversion. Okay, in other words, I'm keeping these 2 notes where they were in the first position of the previous set, and I'm just moving the highest note to the low end, to the low register, okay, and I get this second inversion. Now from here, if I move to the next position, this is going to be a root position, C, E, G. And then finally, I will find the first inversion, which is E, G, C, which looks like this, and is very helpful, and it sounds really nice. So in this second set of strings, I found second inversion, root position, and first inversion. Okay, now we can move on to the third set of strings, where the first position we find is a first inversion. This is E, G, C. E is in the bass, 3rd is in the bass, the root is on top. This is also called the Hendrix inversion because it's something that Jimi Hendrix used to play quite a lot during the typical R&B hammer-on pull-off embellishments. Okay. Now the next position in this third set of strings is going to be this, which is a second inversion, G, C, E. This looks like an E shape, yeah. And then we have one more, which is the root position, which looks like this. Okay, obviously C, E, G. Now to recap this third set of strings, we found first inversion, second inversion, root position. Okay. Now I'm ready to move on to my fourth and final set of strings, which will start with my root position here, C, E, G. First inversion, E, G, C. This looks like the Hendrix inversion again, that's the first inversion. And then my second inversion, G, C, E, with the G in the bass. Obviously, guys, you can also play this here, but for the sake of the logic we are following, I prefer to play this as the final position. So this, guys, means that we already found 12 positions of the C major triad. Let's recap them all, and let's also see how you guys can practice these 12 positions. So in the first set of strings we had root position, first inversion, second inversion. Second set of strings we had second inversion, root position, first inversion. Third set of strings we had first inversion, second inversion, root position. Fourth and final set of strings we've got root position, first inversion, second inversion. Now, these are 12 positions. You need to train your muscle memory and learn them. The best way, in my opinion, is to set a metronome and essentially just play a minim for each note, for each triad really that you're going to practice in two directions. First, you can go horizontally, which essentially means you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on. Okay guys, when you do this, it's really important that for each of these triads, you memorize whether it's a root position, a first inversion, or a second inversion, and in any case, where the root note C is. Okay, obviously when you're ready, you're gonna move this in other keys. Okay, now the second way to practice this is obviously to follow the opposite direction. So you play a triad, and rather than moving to the next triad in the same set, you go up sharing those two notes like we said, you get this, then you share another two and you get this, then you share another two and you get this. So you're always moving the highest note to the low register, and then once you reach this fourth set, you move to the next position in the same set of strings so that you go diagonal, and you start from this first inversion, you share two notes, these two, and you move the low end to the high end, and you get this one, and then you continue in this direction. Okay, from here you will go to the next position of the same set, and you will do the same, and you've played your 12 positions. You've gone up, down, up. My advice, do the opposite. Once you're here, you will do this. If you guys haven't made any mistake, you will end where you started from. Okay. Now, all of these 12 positions that we just learned and practiced in C major are close positions. That means that all of the three notes of each triad belong to the same octave. They are within one octave of range. Okay. Now, when we move to spread voicing triads, all we're doing is taking the middle note of any of these triads, whether that is root position or an inversion, it doesn't matter, and you move it one octave higher. In this way, you are opening the voicing, you are spreading the voicing across two different octaves. Let's see this with an example. If I start from this C major, C, E, G, they are within one octave, root position. Now I'm looking for the middle note, which is the note E, in this case, that's the third, and I will move this note one octave higher. So that means I will get it here. So I haven't moved the root, I haven't moved the fifth, it's just the third moved from here to the following octave, and you get this, okay? This is a root position in spread voicing, okay? Now, before we see the other positions, let's say something more about the spread voicing triads, which, guys, I'm sure that you heard lots of times. They are the ones that I was playing in the intro of this lesson as well. Now, when you play the spread voicing triads, you won't find 12 positions. Because we do have 6 strings, and anytime we spread the voicing across two different octaves, we will have to skip one string. So if I start with the root on the G string, and I skip one string, I will find another note on the E string, but I don't have one more string to essentially find the last note of the voicing. So we won't start with the root on, or with any note in the bass on the G string. We are cutting out one of the 4 sets of strings that we learned. with the closed position. In other words, we'll only find 3 sets of strings, but because for the closed position triads we started from the bottom, high end in terms of sound, we'll now start from the low end here. So we are going to start with this root position, which, as we said already, can be moved into this spread voicing triad still in root position. Then I will move to my first inversion, where the note G, which is the 5th, moves 1 octave higher, and it gives me this position. First inversion, okay, in spread voicing, which is lovely. I love this. And then the next one, which is my second inversion, will look like this, because I've moved now the root 1 octave higher. Obviously this can also be played here, we said that already. Okay, so to recap, in this set you get root position, first inversion, and second inversion. Now in the next set of strings we start with a classic, okay? So rather than playing this, which obviously is the same as this, we're gonna move now the E 1 octave higher and you get this. Okay, root 5th, 3rd. So previously, anytime you had a root position, you had 1, 3, 5. Now you have 1, 5, 3, okay, which is cool. Obviously you can position that on the open string and get this. So that's up to you, but I prefer to play it this way. Then I move to my 3rd, which is essentially the note E, and where I used to play my Hendrix position, the first inversion, I now move the note G 1 octave higher, and I get this lovely voicing, which is a first inversion in root position, and rather than being 3, 5, 1, will be 3, 1, 5 on top, which is really interesting, okay? Now for this voicing that I really love, you can also play the note C on the D string. There are some choices to make when you choose where to play these notes on guitar. So one position could also look like this, which I also use very much. You may have seen me playing this kind of position on the channel already, but this is equally fine, so it's completely up to you. Then for my second inversion, I will move the note C 1 octave higher and I will get this. I know this is kind of a stretch, but yeah, it just sounds nice, okay? And when you play this second inversion, the voicing is not 5, 1, 3 anymore, it's 5, 3, 1. 5, 3, 1. So to recap, in this set of strings we found root position, then we found first inversion, or if you like, first inversion like that, and then we found second inversion. Now we're going to the final set of strings, which will have the note in the bass being on the D string. So that means I can start, for instance, from the note G here and get my second inversion like this. So I'm playing this note, this, and this, okay, but I prefer using a bar anyway. So this is 5th, 3rd, and root this way. I'm obviously moving this close position where the root note moves 1 octave higher, and I get this. Okay. Then for my basic triad here, which is a root position, I'm moving the 3rd again and I get this, which is also nice. And then the final position will be moving this kind of first inversion into something where the G note goes all the way up here and you get this. So to recap, obviously this can also be played here. So to recap, in this set of strings, the spread voicing triads are 1, this is a second inversion, 2, this is a root position, and 3, this is obviously a first inversion. So we now have completed our 9 positions of the spread voicing triads, C major spread voicing triads, 9 positions, okay? Now guys, that means that we've just learned 21 ways to play the C major triad on guitar, 12 close positions and 9 spread voicing positions, okay? Now what you have to do next is make sure that you practice them in different keys, that you practice them with those 2 exercises that I showed you, and then you start applying the same things, the same concept and considerations to map the fretboard and find your 12 positions, also for minor triads, augmented triads, and diminished triads. Now if you are lazy, or if you simply want to double check that all of the positions you find are correct, I will put all of these triad positions on my Patreon page. You can head there and download all of the shapes, all of the positions in tab music notation with chord diagrams as well. And I'm talking about 21 positions, 4 pieces of triads, so 84 positions that you can download on my Patreon page. Hope this lesson was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.